Explanation text of 12, Science 3, consists of Aldi Cristiano, Irdian Zey, Madenayaka, and Muhammad Argab.
1. Preface. 2. Definition and function of explanation text. 3. Generic structure of explanation text. 4. Language features of explanation text. 5. Example of explanation text. 6. Reference or bibliography. 7. Members' contribution.
Praise be to God Almighty for the blessings of His grace and the opportunity given to us to be able to complete a working presentation entitled The Explanation Text. This presentation has been prepared as part of our English group project in order to fulfill English assignment in SMA Negeri 3 Bandung. Accordance with Mr. Karunia Swandarini instruction as our English teacher. This presentation is structured to give the reader important information about explanation text. The initial portion of the presentation is to explain the general information regarding to the exposition text based on what the reader needed, the importance of determining the generic structure and dictions according to the text, and being focused on language features of explanatory texts. And that must have been also be firmly paid attention, since it has slightly different language features by another expository texts. After taking the general view and studying the grammar and their sentences structures, compilers have been given a microscopic view that all the details of exposition text are mentioned in the initial part of the presentation. In this project, we have taken various types of ratio to describe and compare other explanatory texts. Hopefully, this presentation can give a broader sight to the reader, although this presentation still has many disadvantages. Best regards, compilers.
Explanation text is an expository text which tells about any process relating to phenomena that happen in our daily life scope. It could be relating with scientific, social, or natural phenomena. Explanatory texts emphasize why and how of a certain phenomenon occurs. We might find numbered points, time conjunctions, photos of the phenomenon, scientific dates and diagrams, labels and captions more oftenly in this type of exposition text in order to help the readers to understand the text as a whole.
The main function of explanation text is to convey the readers of how things work and or why something occurs. Explanatory text details logically described in a state of continuous or stage. General statement. The paragraph which stating about the phenomenon issues which are to be explained following on the sequence of explanation. Sequence of explanation. The part of explanation text which explaining about the procedure of a certain phenomenon. Conclusion. The paragraph which concluding the explanatory text, usually by combining all of the main idea of each paragraph.
Language features. 1. Using simple present tense. Simple present tense is one of the several tenses in English. It used to describe about conditions or actions that are happening right now, habitual actions, general truth, and occurrences. 2. Using abstract nouns. Abstract nouns represent things you can perceive with the 5 main senses. Words like love, time, beauty, and science are all abstract nouns because you can touch them or see them, but you can feel them.
3. Using passive voice. A passive voice construction is a grammatical voice construction that is found in many languages. Passive voice commonly use verb 2 or verb 3 as their verb example. For example, the building was being rumbled and then got collapsed due to the earthquake. 4. Using action verbs. A verb which explains about the subject action towards an object. For example, retain, exit, love. Action verbs can be passive. Number 5. Using chronological conjunctions. For example, and, then, afterwards, when, after, before, until, or since.
Explanation text example. How a tsunami happens. We all know that tsunamis are a series of powerful and destructive waves. Tsunami is the deadliest wave because the wave speed is incredibly fast. But do you know how a tsunami happens? Tsunami originated from Japanese, "su" meaning harbor and "nami" meaning wave. They are normally caused by earthquakes, severe landslides, or volcanic eruptions in or close to the ocean. After some sort of underwater disturbance, this causes energy to rise up to the sea level, pushing the water high into the air. And then gravity kicks in and pulls it out again, and then consequently causing the water to filter out in many different directions. When a tsunami begins to approach the shore, the energy in the wave is compressed. As the result, the water is pushed up into the wave, resulting in a powerful tsunami. If the throw hits the shoreline first, it then causes the tide to drastically retreat. So, tsunami happen because of natural disasters such as earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. People who live near the shoreline have to be careful because they are threatened by tsunamis whenever there is an earthquake.